Remember that tentative budget deal we mentioned just last week?
Good things come to those who wait.
Well, we're going to have to keep waiting. Friday, the whole thing blew up. And House Speaker Danny Perez isn't happy about it.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that when the Senate president gave me his word that we had a deal, gave his chamber his word that we had a deal, that I'm disappointed that now that word has no value.
The House and Senate had previously worked out something that was below the governor's $115.6 billion proposal. It would have had $2.8 billion in total tax relief, with $2.5 billion a reoccurring cut, mostly from a sales tax reduction. But Governor Ron DeSantis put the kibosh on that Wednesday.
Any Florida last tax package is going to be dead on arrival.
Threatening a veto and saying Floridians need property tax relief. All week, he's pushed his $5 billion rebate program, which would, on average, give homesteads $1,000 each, saying this on Friday.
You have the biggest majorities in the Florida House we've ever had for Republicans, and yet the agenda has really been, they've been more interested in throwing a lifeline to the left and attacking me.
Go through again why you feel like your plans for a tax cut package make more sense than, doing something like a $5 billion rebate that the governor wants.
Well, what the governor wanted were a non-recurring $1,000 check that would go to Floridians that have homestead properties. That is not going to cut wasteful spending. That is going to increase spending. And that is not a recurring tax cut either. It is not a recurring cut of any wasteful spending. So we will continue to argue on behalf of Floridians and cut wasteful spending. What that wasteful spending looks like is something I've always been open to discussing. I've always been open to discussing that. And I've had those conversations with the Senate president. I haven't had it with the governor, unfortunately, because he is not willing to have a conversation the way that an adult should be willing to do so.
Meanwhile, Senate President Ben Albritton offered this memo on why negotiations broke down. He cites the governor's opposition and concerns from senators that Floridians won't feel that now defunct deal, nor could they afford it if revenue gets tight. Quote, "It's important to me that we develop a tax relief package that is sustainable for the long term and leaves room in our balanced budget for the voters to consider meaningful property tax relief on the ballot at the next general election."
They're all over the place, and they're not unified.
Florida Democrats taking shots at all of them, saying Republicans are dropping the ball on constitutional duties.
They're more concerned about vengeance, of throwing bombs, than doing what they're supposed to do when they come up to Tallahassee. They've got one job. They got one job, and that's to pass a budget.
It's now unclear more than ever how the legislature will get to passing that budget. The House planning to come back next week and extend until June 30th, though Senate staff says the upper chamber won't be doing the same.